The top 10 what-ifs in Chicago sports history. We've got them for you. Stick around. CHGO Sports got you covered. Looking back in time, some of these are fun, some of these are not so fun, alongside just a panel of just dynamic, deep talents. Jay Zawaski, CHGO Blackhawks, Big Dave, CHGO Bulls, Patrick Norton, CHGO website, and everything else.
I love that show.
Yeah,
CHGO website is awesome.
That's how I start my morning.
Come on. You get the newsletter. Patrick Norton starts your day.
Yes.
AllCHGO.com.
Yeah. He's awesome.
All right. If you've been following along this week, we've got lists for you, and this is the top 10 list of what ifs, and we've got everyone covered here. I'll give a little tease. It's Bears, Cubs, Hawks, Bulls, baseball, Cubs, and I'll leave the top three with no tease. But why don't we just kick it off, guys? And coming in at number 10. I did not know about this until 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you guys do when we were going through this list, but we're leading with George Halas in 1915 in the SS Eastland. I probably should have said hello to everybody here, but what happens if George Halas didn't show up to some random boat and that tipped over and 844 people died in 1915? Did you guys know about this before we started doing this list? Were you aware of this period?
I was aware of the Eastland disaster. I did not know the George Halas part of it. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah,
but
I say I heard it before in passing, but it's not something I really retained or anything like that. But yeah, I heard about it before.
I knew this entire story. I'm not joking. I genuinely did.
Well, Halas was 20. He was working for a summer job, Western Electric. This was a Saturday. He was late. Apparently, he was trying to bulk himself up for football to go down to Illinois. 2,500 people boarded the boat. 844 people died. He had his best friends on there, Ralph Brizzolara and Ralph's brother, Charles. Those two survived. I like to think that George would have survived, too, because he's George damn-ass Halas. But in the case that he didn't, that's why this is making lists, because found to the Bears, found to the NFL, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's just the Bears you have to consider in this situation. It's what does the NFL look like without George Halas? Because, yes, he founded the Bears, a charter franchise, of course, but does the NFL take off without his leadership, without his guidance? And maybe something sprouts up from, eventually at some point, but I don't think the NFL looks anything like it looks now had George Halas not survived.
Oh, completely agree. I mean, he's one of the founding fathers of this and started all of this stuff. So I'm thinking more of the trickle down, you know what I'm saying, as far as what's going on today. Does it include a Mike Ditka in there? Does it include a Walter Payton in there? It just the McCaskies, say it happened or anything like that. So all of the trickle down effect of it, I kind of think of, and yeah, it's just one little tiny instance and one little tiny decision, and it makes me wonder: did he think about this on a daily basis? I know somebody I would definitely have that on my mind for sure.
It's sort of a life-changing thing to have happen to you. Is like, wow, I should probably be dead now. I need to make the most out of what I've got left here. And you hear that with survivors of diseases or heart attacks or whatever. Or I had an uncle who was supposed to be at the World Trade Center on 9/11 and just didn't go that day for whatever reason. It has to change your life.
Yeah. It's one of those moments too where people kind of forget that back in the 50s or 60s, George Halas played a pretty big role in saving the Green Bay Packers, or at least keeping them in Green Bay. I think football exists. I think the NFL exists at this point without George Halas, but it looks vastly different. The Chicago Bears are an incredibly different franchise than what they are now. Probably not named the Bears.
Right.
And who knows if the Green Bay Packers would exist.
Right. He changed the name from the Staleys to the Bears. And I'm just gonna flip this a little bit here. Because you just said what I think. Like, I think the NFL does eventually get created,
yeah,
right?
It's the NFL, sure.
Something,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. If the Bears were whatever they would be, would Chicago football fans be better off? Because I don't know. It's been 40 years since 85 now, and as much as I want to talk about Mongo and Hamp and all of them, I don't know. I think you could make a pretty fairly compelling argument that this city might be better off.
Could they have won 2 Super Bowls since their founding?
Exactly.
Instead of just one.
Yes.
Probably.
I mean, you're throwing all his championships that he won in the trash as well, man.
How does-
outside of the Super Bowl.
The pre-Super Bowl days.
Eastland, how does the SS Eastland affect the Caleb Williams versus Justin Fields?
I'm just saying it might perhaps have turned out better for Chicago.
They would have traded the one. They would have traded the one in 2020.
If George Halas was there, he would have flipped the boat right side up, and none of this wouldn't have mattered anyway. So it's fine.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also my other, I don't know. We got some old hats here. My journey with George Halas was that the Bears were cheap, that they didn't want to pay anybody, and it was never like he wasn't really beloved at any point in my lifetime, at least.
I mean, a lot of people who are building things aren't. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's about getting it done and progressing and moving it forward. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure he did a lot of things that I think of that I didn't like. I don't think it's a question about that for me. It's about where would the NFL be? Where would the Chicago Bears be? I love being a Bears fan. If I had my heart broken 1,000,000 times, of course, and I'm ready for 1,000,000 more. You know what I mean? But that's the point of being a fan, man. But yeah, man, it would just look incredibly, incredibly different if he didn't get on that boat. Or if he did get on that boat, I should say.
Yeah. All right. Let's shout out to Papa Bear. Incredible legend in the history of the world, and obviously tied to Chicago, so that's a beautiful thing. But let's go to number 9, and let's go baseball. And what if the Sammy Sosa trade never happens? Now, we're going back March 30th, 1992. The White Sox sending Sammy to the Cubs along with left-handed pitcher Kenny Patterson, who Jim Lefevre was very excited about at the time, and outfielder George Bell going back to the Sox. And Bell played 92, 25 homers, 112 RBIs. 93 was his last season. Sosa went on to be Sammy
Pretty good.
Sosa. Thoughts?
You know what interests me on this one more than, like, would the Sox have won a World Series or would the Cubs have been not as good, whatever, like, what does it do to the balance of the two teams in Chicago? If they've got Sosa and Big Frank, and then eventually, like, Maglio Ordonez rolls around and Carlos Lee rolls around, and, like, you're talking about, like a pretty formidable lineup. Yeah. And, of course, if Sosa's there, the draft is so, of course, there's all those, like, the butterfly effect of everything. But I wonder what that does because the Cubs were still the top team in Chicago, but when that summer happened of 98, like, that took the Cubs to a whole new level.
Yeah, it changed everything, man. I remember Sammy with the White Sox. He struck out a lot. Shout out to him because the Jerry curl was dripping and wet, and it was awesome. It was amazing to see. And George Bell's as well. No one to leave his out. He had one as well. It was awesome to watch. But that's what I remember about Sammy Sosa is him striking out a lot and not being just terrible or anything like that, but a guy who needed some work. And sometimes guys just need a change of scenery to be better because Sammy on any other team outside of the Cubs was okay. You know what I mean? But on the Cubs, it was like, whoa, everything kind of changed and it clicked for him for sure. I was very happy for him that it happened that way. I don't think any real Sox fan is like really bitter about Sammy Sosa being, with the Cubs because it just wasn't happening here.
Well, let's be real. Is Sammy ever Sammy if he's in that Sox clubhouse with Frank Thomas and
that's a good point.
Not
Great
allegedly
point. Yes.
taking performance-enhancing drugs?
Great point.
I don't think he is. I mean, I think he's still probably a great player, but 545 home runs with the Cubs alone?
Pretty good.
That total is not the same if he's on the South Side for an extended period.
Well, it's interesting you went to the PED angle there. Because I know those Sox teams took some pride in, like, we're clean. We don't, we do it the right way.
Sort of whipped
And
his
of
ass.
course, a lot. I'm sure they had plenty of. Jose Valentin was on that team, and I love Jose, but come on. But the personality thing too, like Sosa came in with the boombox and just ran the show.
Yeah.
It was like Sammy and everybody else. Would that have worked in a Frank Thomas locker room? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it was Frank 1, 2, and number 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, as far as the locker room. So what he kind of said goes. So how could Sammy kind of grow and be that kind of guy, that personality that he has when somebody more stoic, like who's your leader? And rightfully so, that's your leader in a guy like Frank Thomas. I mean, it's fun to think about to see if Sammy would have broke out. I remember Julio Franco being signed, becoming the DH, Blackjack McDowell, that pitching staff. They had Wilson Alvarez and Jason Beret and all those guys. But, yeah, I just don't see how he would have broken out and become slamming Sammy Sosa here with the White Sox outside of being with the Cubs.
Well, the WGN factor too. Like, I mean,
Sure.
a camera's a camera. He's going to go find it. But that launched him globally or whatever, however you want to put it, at a different level than if he was a White Sox. But
Yeah.
I mean, from a pure Wrigley Field standpoint, he was the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
big time.
that, and you know, this the whole thing's coming back this year, and he has to apologize. Like, all y'all were on your feet year after year after year, and you didn't know about that he was doing PEDs. Well, you did know that he corked his bat. It happened at Wrigley Field.
I was there.
So right. So like, I mean, come on, that whole thing was just ridiculous. But that dude filled up that place literally like no other. Andre Dawson's somewhat in there with Andre's Army and all that, but Sammy was at the top.
Well, like summer of '98, Jay pointed to it already, but Sox only played the Cardinals, I think, 3 times in early June. So you never get McGuire versus Sosa, and
right.
that was such
That
a
helped a
crucial
lot.
part of that year too.
That's a great point.
But it was just, I mean, I remember too, it was just appointment television. And they would, towards the end of the year, they would interrupt whatever broadcast was on ESPN and like, Sammy's up, McGuire's up.
Yep.
We're going to show you the at bat and get back to the broadcast here. It was wild. And I don't know.
I wasn't born
I
yet.
still think if he has that success with the Sox, that it still gets that kind of attention. But who knows what it does for the scales of fandom.
Yeah, it was great.
Just thinking back, my first media job where I could get a credential was '98.
Okay.
So I followed that dude around. I Detroit, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I mean, it was, you just wanted to be around him at that point.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Jim Riggleman too, first class, loved him.
Riggleman. Oh, man.
All right. That one was just super impactful on both sides of town, so we thought it made the list. Number 8, we go. Here we go, Jay. What if the Blackhawks don't win Game 5 when they beat Nashville in overtime at the United Center 2010 that started the run?
Yeah.
Down late in regulation. Patrick Kane finds the back of the net off a rebound on a Jonathan Taves shot. Marian Hossa,
Right
5-minute major, finally comes out of the box, gets a rebound from off a Brent Sopel shot. Hawks 5, Predators 4. They take a 3-2 series.
So
lead.
here's
Hold on, Jay. I got this one.
Do
all
it.
right? This
Yeah,
is on
do
me.
it. Floor is yours.
I'm going to pass it to Jay.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Well, here's the thing. I mean, just the short version is they go to Nashville down 3-2, which is not a great place to be. You have a must win on the road. The bigger picture of this is they don't win the cup in 2010. You've got early exits in 11 and 12. Then maybe they're looking at this core and saying, can we win with these guys? Like, was Marian Hossa the right move? Is Patrick Kane the kind of guy that can deliver on a big stage? A lot of these questions that got answered in 2010 as the playoffs went on aren't answered at that point. So you could see a totally different future for the Hawks, and people could say, well, okay, they don't win in 2010, but they still win in 13 and 15. Not necessarily, because the team is probably built different. The guys that left the team after 2010, like Bufflin and those guys, like maybe they're back because they don't have that big playoff accomplishment behind them, and the value isn't as high as it would be. There's so many little things that could happen if they don't win that game alone. And maybe they go on to win the series, but for me, winning that game, if you go back and watch that game, it was one of the least entertaining hockey games I've seen in my entire life. The Hawks played terrible. Yeah. It was incredibly frustrating. And then they have this moment where we've played a bad game. We have no business winning this game. Then we take a 5-minute major late in the game. We're screwed. We need a shorthanded goal. You get that. Then you get the overtime winner. And that's the sort of thing where this team's like, we are never out. No one can beat us. No matter what the situation is, we are going to come back. I heard Patrick Kane talk about it the other day. It's like this, you had this naivety of youth of we're invincible. You can't beat us. Whatever the situation is, we're going to come back. And I think Nashville Game 5 was probably the first time the team really felt like, okay, yeah, we got something special here. Like, they got their asses whooped in a Western final by Detroit the year before. That was kind of a, hey, welcome. You've got a way to go, right? They get slapped down by the salty old vets in Detroit. And then the next year, they know with that win, it's like the team knew that they could hang with anyone, they could overcome anything, and that was something that they carried with them through that entire dynasty. They were never out. They were never beaten. Detroit in 2013 are down 3-1 in that series. They come back and win it. And I remember Ken Hitchcock, the old Blues coach, said, the thing about playing Chicago is their resolve. They just have this thing about them where you might think you have them, you never have them. They might run out of time, and you might get a win, but that team's never out of a game. And I think Nashville Game 5 was the one that really set the tone for the franchise in that era.
Where does it rank for you as far as that championship era? What does this game rank for you?
Oh boy, I mean, in terms of just pure moments, I guess you have to say your favorite moments are the Cup winning goals, right? So Duncan Keith, Patrick Kane in Philly. Right. But in terms of like non-Cup clinching moments, I think it's Seabrook eliminating Detroit in 2013 after you thought you won the game.
Chalmers,
and then there's a penalty way behind the play. That goal is waved off. Then you got to come out for overtime, kind of feeling down in the dumps. Seabrook wins it quickly. And then I think right after that, I think it is. I think it's either Nashville Game 5 or the Patrick Kane heartbreaker goal against LA. But I just think the unlikelihood of this Nashville moment to me is what makes it so special.
When you talk about the resolve, they were down they were up 3-1 in that game too.
Yeah,
and let Nashville back in. I think Martin Erat had like 2 goals in that third period, and they take the lead in that third, and then the 5-minute major with Hosa, like that's.
It's a guy who doesn't take 5-minute majors.
No.
It was just a very kind of accidental. It was definitely a penalty, but it was an accidental. Like he did it was like, ugh.
Well, that's why it was a 5-minute major and not an ejection. Too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't
right.
a game misconduct.
Yeah. I mean, there's all of these. You can. It's almost scary to dissect. You know,
well, if you were
what would have happened
if you were going to put a percentage on it, they lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage would you put that group never wins one cup?
Oh boy,
It's tough.
That's tough because regardless, they are still quite stacked.
Yep.
And if anything, it might make them better in 2011 and 2012 because maybe you don't lose some of those guys you didn't want to lose.
Yes.
Like Antti Niemi is a good example. Like the Sharks went and offer sheeted Hjalmarsson. The Hawks matched that, so they knew Niemi would then be available to them. So they got Niemi. So maybe you have Niemi and Hjalmarsson and Bufflin. And so those teams are better and stronger. I don't know. I still think they would have won at least one just because they were so deep and so talented and well coached and everything. So, yeah, I think they would have won one.
Shout out to 2010. Shout out 3 cups. Shout out someday Chicago teams will win again.
That'd be nice.
All right. Our first time out, we're coming back with a guy that Big Dave just got to see. Big D Rose. We'll do that next.
What is Sunnyside? Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. Whether you're a noob, whether you're a veteran in the cannabis game, they've got everything you need to elevate your summer at Sunnyside. They are Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in Wrigleyville, River North, Champaign, South Beloit, and more. And I want to tell you about my 2 favorite brands, the Good News and the Mindy's. I've been using both of those for years, and the Good News counting sheep. If you have trouble sleeping like I have since I was literally born, it's all you need to get you through the night. They are wonderful. Could not recommend them more, but they've got tons of great products at Sunnyside. So visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day. Only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders, and for existing customers, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
It's hot.
Yes.
All right. You need some AC cooling, guys. And you need to call 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric for many, many reasons. And one of them is they've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Now is the time to get your AC checked out. And 4 Seasons experts are ready to help with AC installation, maintenance, repair, and just keeping you very, very cool. You can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons, new AC units from $39 a month, and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Plumbing, electrical, heating, or cooling emergency, guess what? Need a new hot water tank or a generator? I do. Call Four Seasons for you'll get that same day installation at no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com, because for all the right reasons. Patrick?
Call 866-4 Seasons.
All right, before we get to number 7, let's recap. George Halas, he didn't make the boat in 1915. Thank you, Papa Bear.
Good job.
Sammy Sosa, White Sox to the Cubs. Nobody won anything ever, but that was huge. Blackhawks 2010. Yes, we got our first cup because, hey, Game 5 went the Hawks' way. All right, to number 7 we go. And this one is particularly painful, and you were just out at the Summer League in Vegas, and you guys did a phenomenal job talking to Derrick. One of my personal favorites, just first class all the way. But here we go. What if Derrick Rose didn't get hurt? It never happened. The 50-16 Bulls, the 1 seed, wouldn't have lost to the Philadelphia 76ers. We could say that for sure. But, Big Dave, why don't you go down this road because it sucked, and it still sucks, honestly.
Yeah, I'm glad you're asking me to go down it because it sucks.
Yeah, relive it.
For that. Right. Bring all that trauma right back into your soul, sir. I mean, I remember that day. I remember everything about that day. I remember the weird feeling I had in my stomach because the Bulls were playing at noon, and they were a number 1 seed, and I was like, why is a number 1 seed playing at noon? I couldn't understand it, and I was like, I don't like this. I barely watched the game. My friend will tell you this. I'll sit and watch every game. For some reason, I barely watched this game. I started cleaning up my house. Like, I don't know. I felt weird the whole time. And I remember being in my room, cleaning it up, and my friends just screaming like, dude, Rose is down, Rose is down, Rose is down. And ran out, and, yeah, the end. And it was very, very sad. And the reality really hit you in the face the next game because he walks out to deliver the game ball, and he's got this colossal brace on his knee, and that was like a punch in the face, watching that happen, man. Like, it was just really, really, really tough to see. It sucked. It was terrible. Bulls, in a lot of ways, still kind of haven't really recovered from that. My man Matt Peck's sanity has not recovered from that. And a lot of Bulls, sanity hasn't. But what if he didn't get hurt? I mean, I don't see how he doesn't continue to at least get to multiple Eastern Conference finals. I don't know if he wins them because of LeBron James and just how great that Miami Heat team was. If he doesn't get hurt, does that mean the Bulls get Carmelo Anthony? You know what I'm saying? Is he more susceptible to come here and want to play? Because I felt like if the Bulls got Carmelo, then yes, I would have probably picked them to beat the Miami Heat, but that didn't happen. What player would have want to come here and play with Derrick Rose when he's the youngest MVP? How long that would have continued? How long that reign would have continued? I don't see how he's not continuing to be great. You know what I mean? Like, outside of that injury and things happening, I don't see how the greatness doesn't continue. And I really see it that way. I feel like he would have won 1 championship at least here in Chicago. And, yeah, it's just for me, it's the second most tragic basketball thing Chicago-wise to happen behind, obviously, Ben Wilson, rest in peace. But it was devastating. Like, it was truly, truly devastating, as I'm sure you know, and I'm sure you know.
I love that Ben Wilson just got to mention that documentary on him was unbelievable. But, like, to your point, I mean, I had to go back and look at this today, which was really nauseating. But in 11, when he was healthy, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. They lost to Miami in 5 games. They led in every fourth quarter.
Yes,
they were right there. And by the way, Miami went on to lose to Dallas that year. The Bulls
I remember it well.
Yeah. So and JJ Barea guarded LeBron, and LeBron scored 8 points, and everybody calls him the GOAT. I'm going to fight him.
And Jason Terry was giving it to him.
Yeah. Let's just get that on the record here. Yes. But 2013 they beat the Nets in 7 with Joakim leading the way. 2014 they lose to the Wizards. He re-injured the knee and missed the whole. Didn't re-injured it in 13. Never played in 14. All these things. But 2015 they took the Cavs to 6. Yeah. He hit the banker to put him up 2-1. Jimmy Butler was coming on. Jimmy was guarding LeBron.
I remember.
If that's a healthy Derrick, at the back end of Cleveland, I think they get past them. I think, you know,
That one, yes, I agree. I agree. That shot that LeBron hit, just, one of the many things that kind of cemented his greatness in the league, man. But yeah, that Derrick Rose, the game winner that he hit, and then hit another one, like you said, a banker three that ties the game. And then David Blatt, their coach, trying to call a timeout, running on the floor when they didn't have one, and you see somebody on the bench yanking him back. Should have been a technical.
Yeah.
That was not called. But yeah, LeBron hit the shot. I mean, you don't take away from that, and that was the series. It was over after that.
Pushed off.
Will Gottlieb had a great. Will Gottlieb had a great. He ran a simulation for what would have happened year by year, had Rose been healthy, and the career path and just the eventual here's are all of his accolades after he retires. Does just make you think man, that really is quite the what if.
Yeah, man, a colossal what if. Definitely what this show is kind of made about.
Yeah,
we can run it right into number 6 because this one actually bothers me. Well, I don't know if it bothers me more than Rose because it just sucks for Derrick. But 6 is also a Bulls one, and that is what if the Bulls had kept the core together in '98? I'll tell you one thing on this what if. I would hate half of the Chicago media a lot less because I despised this conversation. It's time, you got to move on, and they're done. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. What is the rush to get to Rusty LaRue? Let them lose. I don't care. You're betting against Jordan. That's insane. Let this thing run its course. Do whatever you possibly can to keep them together. If they lose, we'll give them a standing ovation. They'll walk off the court as the greatest dynasty in the history of the NBA. And reminder, Scottie Pippen played in the Western Conference Finals with the Portland Trail Blazers. They had the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe beat. Dennis, you would have had to figure out how to fix him, but he probably would have been more functional with that team. Phil Jackson doesn't want to be. Phil, you suck too. You should have stayed. You owed it to Jordan. I don't care what was going on with your personal life. That was complete BS. What would have happened? They would have beat the San Antonio Spurs in '99. That's what would have happened. Now I'll throw you guys out there. What would have happened? The whole thing annoys me.
So let me go first, just because I was not alive for this.
Shut up.
No, no. So my perspective is all from watching The Last Dance, and then Carm had me watch every single championship video from the Bulls, and that was a great weekend spent. How in the world do you choose Jerry Krause over Michael Jordan?
Because you're them.
What in the world?
Yeah.
That's all I had on it.
It's one thing if they had won in '98 and then 98, 9, 2000, all right, they fall a little bit short. They don't look the same. Sure. Then you make that decision. Sure. Right. You don't do it after winning your 6th title in 8 years? What?
And they made
great job, guys. You're clearly done. There's nothing left in this tank. Congrats on the most recent championship, but no, there's nothing left here, and we got to give it to Jerry Krause and Rusty LaRue.
And I think the greatness of that, what you just said, is the announcement was made before the season started that none of this was going to happen again.
Yeah.
This is it. As Krause famously said, I don't care if you go 82-0, you're not coming back, which is damn.
Jerry Reinsdorf should have called a press conference the next day. Listen, we saw what Jerry said. He misunderstood what I was talking about, and we have relieved Jerry Krause of his duties because we are not closing the window on this. If we win it again, I want to keep on going to the United Center and winning.
Yeah.
So it's just really
no. It does take a ballsy general manager to say, you know what, the best of this is behind it, and we got to move on before it's too late. It was definitely not too late for that organization. There's no way.
The guy, he came back 5 years later with the Wizards, and they had no one, and they went from 19 wins to 37 or whatever it was, and he hurt his knee. That was the guy was showing up at practice in school in Corey Benjamin.
Yes, he was.
And in '99, you have a shortened year too, so.
Right,
a more refreshed team heading into that
playoffs. Which was my point about it all the time was that team is older, that team is injured, but giving them rest and time is exactly what they kind of needed. So, and who were they going to go up against? Remember who made it to that finals in '99 was the New York Knicks, led by Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, and Latrell Sprewell. Shout out to them, but I would happily pick the Bulls to beat that kind of team, man. So
Yeah, and an old David Robinson on a Spurs team, like, come on.
But Timmy D was there. Like you can't disrespect him,
the hell out of here. That's,
they would have won. No,
they
Bulls
would have
won.
They would have won.
I still got the Bulls, but
would Kerr and Purdue have been there?
On that Spurs team,
they have been in San Antonio.
That's true.
On that Spurs team.
Shout out Will Purdue. All right, here let's sneak one more in here as we go back to baseball. Number 5 on our list. What if there was no strike in 1994? The Chicago White Sox finished that year 67-46, absolutely rolling after going to the playoffs in 93. There he is, a young Frank Thomas in his prime. That team was stacked and a half. Yeah. A lot of good teams that year, though. The Expos were 74-40 at that time. Shout out Montreal.
Cleveland.
Yankees had won 70 games.
Cleveland was nice.
Cleveland was nice too. They were one game back of the Sox at that point.
They were stacked.
You know, that was a juiced Indians team at the time as well. But could that have been? Would that have been the Sox World Series before the Sox 2005 World Series?
I mean, it's definitely their best chance at it.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned earlier Jack McDowell, Alex Fernandez, Wilson Alvarez, Jason Beret, all sub-4 ERA. You're only you had 5.09 ERA from Scott Sanderson, but that's your 5th starter. You've got a stacked lineup with Frank Thomas in his absolute prime. I don't know if they would have won it, but it was certainly their best chance to win it in my lifetime, aside from 05. I don't think there's any question about it.
No question about that at all, man. Like, that team was supremely stacked. Like, I mentioned Julio Franco earlier. I think he had 19 or 20 home runs right up to that time when they had the strike. And that batting stance, I don't know why every child was trying to recreate that batting stance Julio Franco had, but we shouldn't have been doing that. But I just remember it so vividly because the White Sox were my team at that time, or still are my team, I should say. And I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, still a kid, and then just having that kind of ripped away, knowing just how close they were. And knowing just the rivalry we had with Cleveland, because Cleveland had Roberto Alomar, Albert Bell, Jim Thome, like, they were stacked, man, to the gills. Kenny Lofton, like, they had a squad. And I was like, it felt good to say, no, we got a squad. You know what I mean? Whatever team you want to throw out there, my team is good enough to beat you. And I wasn't used to that as far as baseball was concerned. So that was my first time with it. And I think that the White Sox would have gotten an opportunity to get to that World Series. Maybe play the Montreal Expos, who were also killing at that time and had a ridiculously stacked team. And, man, yeah, that strike just really just brought up the hugest what if for this organization.
The year before Frank Thomas wins MVP, 41 home runs. The 1994, he had 38 when the season was canceled.
It's nuts.
That's wild. He's batting 353. like Frank's legacy, World Series or not, obviously he still wins the MVP that year. But it's different if he hits 60 home runs that year, or not 60, but 50 plus, and continues to bat 350 for a full year, and the Sox make a deep playoff run. And instead, things just kind of, not for him per se, but things fell apart for the Sox after that.
Definitely subsided for sure.
So you got to put the Reinsdorf factor in this, because when the whole negotiations trying to get through the strike happened, I mean, Jerry was a hawk. He was like, he could have been a lot more selfish and been like, look, I got a team, I got a shot. I have, bought the team in '81. It's hadn't sniffed it really. I mean, sniffing, I guess they suppose like they did the year prior, but like, this is your best chance. And he was like, business won out in his mind over his 94 White Sox. I mean, 95, they went and just completely imploded, won 68 games, finished third, fired Gene Lamont early. Terry Bevington came in. Terry Bevington's record as a White Sox manager was actually better than I remember it to be. They won 85 games in 96, and he was 80 and 81 before they fired him. Like, that guy gets the worst rap ever. They were like a 500 baseball team. Those guys have done a lot worse. But
I think it was the things he said more than the way he managed.
Great point. Shout out Lance Johnson also, man.
But I mean, it was a long time coming before they went back to the playoffs.
Gene Lamont.
That's a true story. All right. Let's take our second quick timeout here. We'll come on back as we get into we'll call it our final four on our What If special here. Jay, Big Dave, Patrick Norton. Stick around. We're back in 2 minutes.
Just like your favorite team needs a home ice advantage, I'm a hockey guy, I say ice. Your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. I don't know why I said it that way. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring pros. They focus on flooring every single day. Family? No. Friends? No. Flooring 24/7 from the people at Empire Today. That's why they're your best bet for a new floor. Their flooring experts will bring the showroom right to your home, not literally, figuratively, but you can pick out the colors so you see how it looks with your furniture and your dog and everything in your house. You want it to look right. You're going to get it with Empire Today. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, you're going to get a $350 discount when using promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard me right, a $350 discount with code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
It's hot, you're moving around, you're sweating, you stink. You need our friends Mando head to toe. Look at what they're doing for you. They've got the 4-in-1 acidified cleansing bar. They're up, just taking it to the next level. It's a shampoo, it's a face wash, it's a body wash, it's a deodorant, it's an all-in-one. You don't need 17 things in your shower. All you got to do is the 4-in-1 acidified cleansing bar. Save space in your bag, by the way, if you're packing and going places. Hope you're doing that this summer. Doing it all for you. Mando is the whole body deodorant, safe to use anywhere on your body. I'm not going to give you all the crevices that you need help on. That's right. Get it done with Mando. They've got the delicious smelling bourbon leather, the Cloverwoods, the Mount Fuji, the Pro Sport, all of it. And they also have the Mando starter pack for you. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, 20% off for you. Use the code CHGO at shopmando.com, SHOPMANDO.com, 20% off, head to toe, Mando. All right, let's recap the list. George Halas missing the boat, 1915. Sammy getting traded, number 9. Blackhawks winning game 5, number 8. Derrick not getting hurt, 7. The Bulls keeping their core together in 98. We'll talk about that for an hour after the show because I'm all fired up on that. No strike in 94 is number 5. And number 4, we're going to Wrigley Field. We're going to October of 2003. We're going to the worst day in the history of the park, arguably. And the question is, what if Alex Gonzalez did not miss the ground ball or fields the ground ball? They turn 2, they win game 6, they go to the World Series, and Steve Bartman never happens. And somehow this guy did not get enough blame. Even to this day, I will blame him to the end of the earth. But at any rate, Jay, you look really pained right now.
Well, what pains me about it is the Bartman angle. And you know, this guy who has been in hiding ever since then.
Yes.
Probably, Steve, if you're watching, you can probably, I think people are ready to forgive, so it's cool. You can come out. But just someone's life was ruined for a moment that 99% of us would have done the same exact thing he did in that situation, because a ball's coming your way, you're looking up, you're trying to grab it, you're not like, wait a minute, in the context of the game, fellas, back up. No one. Everyone went for that ball, so his life is ruined. But, you know, then the Cubs win that game. They're in the World Series. They've got a chance to win. That team was really good. And I talked about the Blackhawks team of 2010 and beyond. That Cubs team had that magic feeling too. And I feel like anytime we see a championship team in town, there is that feel of magic, like a team of destiny. And the Cubs had that feeling. And I think that when the thing with Bartman happened and then with Alex Gonzalez happened, it was, here we go again. We can't overcome this. We cannot overcome this history. We cannot overcome this curse, whatever you want to call it. And from all the confidence you had up to that moment, it was just sucked out as soon as those plays happened. And it almost was like, we forget there was another game. Yes. The Cubs had another chance to win that series and didn't. So
Kerry Wood had a 3-run homer.
Yes, he did. One of my favorite meaningless moments in Cubs history. But it's just it felt like if it's not going to happen this year, it's never going to happen.
I do like that part of this conversation is, what if we hadn't ruined Steve Bartman's life, but instead just ruined Alex Gonzalez's life?
I mean, he is compensated.
It is
highly.
his job.
Take that room.
It is his job to pick up a
It's his job,
routine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he'll be okay. He won't have to, change cities, his whole life and maybe not get a job because of this.
It's a great point, though. It was maybe the most angry I've ever been at Cub fans ever. When Alex Gonzalez, let me just look this up.
I believe that year he had committed the least amount of errors.
He was a real
position.
I mean, that's why he was on the team, for his defense.
Right, exactly. He was amazing. Like I truly remember, like that day. I remember being in my friend's basement because we were gonna go over to Wrigley to actually celebrate and say, because we didn't know when we were gonna actually see something like this. No, we were there pre-gaming, 30 Case Ice House, shout out. And we were getting ready, and everybody was upstairs, and I was the only one down there watching the game. And so when I saw that happen, the barman, I was like, yo, this is crazy. I was like, but no, game's still fine. It's all right. But then when that era happened, you just felt the air and everything come completely out, and you knew it was a wrap. You just knew it. You just knew it.
He went on to play for Montreal, Philly, and the Padres, and I forget which one it was, but he came back to Wrigley Field. Now batting, Alex Gonzalez. They cheered him.
No way.
They cheered him.
No way.
And I was
That's
like,
crazy.
oh my God.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
How is that possible? I would go back, and I was in the park that night. I was vending. I was in the right field corner. I walked all the way to the left field corner after you get off in like the 7th inning. The whole thing happens. I remember my buddy David Frank leaving me voicemails. If you want to have a party, we're having a party at section 219. Like it was, they were going to the World Series.
Yeah, man.
But I go back to Moises Alou.
Okay.
If when Bartman happens, if Alou doesn't go crazy,
He's not catching that ball anyway.
just walks back to his spot in left field and just does, and then you got Baker and Pryor's pointing and all this stuff. It was like if he had just meandered on back. I know maybe that's asking too much of him. Like I almost feel like that was almost a bigger chain of events that doesn't get talked about that night.
I think he's in the moment, bro. Like, close to going to the World Series. You don't want anything around you to go wrong. So even if he, overdid it a little bit, I still kind of forgive it.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
How many what ifs are in this game?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the thing.
I mean,
Like,
even in that single play,
Look, man, Bernie Mac and Dusty Baker took more crap than Alex Gonzalez did, bro.
Weird.
Like, seriously. Yeah, very weird. Weird.
yeah.
But yeah, they did.
Well,
That's what
and
happened.
the thing too is like we talk about how it just puts like a stink on the organization, that feeling that you're never going to overcome.
Yeah.
When they made the playoffs in 2008, they were toast. That was a good team, but Ryan Dempster takes them out against the Dodgers, starts walking everybody, and you're like,
man.
well, that game was over before it started.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, the Bartman fog hung over the organization
point.
forever.
Yeah.
Like 5 years later, you've got, oh boy, Cubs in the playoffs. People are getting itchy. Come on, and that's what
Time to
made the
replay it.
16 team so special. They're like, screw a curse.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight through that.
Yeah.
And the Cubs did not have that mentality in 2008. That was a
At
beaten
all.
team before the game started.
Great point.
It was straight stress in that park. It felt like something
You could
terrible.
feel it.
You
Yes,
could. It was
People
unbelievable.
were waiting for something awful to happen.
And then
it did.
if we go back to 2003, Game 7, spending that game too, I remember walking around through the seats in the park, and like everyone is just on their deathbed, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, let's get up here. It's games. Kerry Wood is pitching. Like, we're better than the Marlins. Hello, and I was like, and then Miguel Cabrera hits a 3-run homer, and the place was beyond that. But then to your point, like Kerry Wood's home run, that was like a biblical experience in there. It was.
I just remember the beers and the bleachers just like just flying through the air was mayhem for a moment.
But the impact of that, which is why, as we'll eventually get to the Cubs again here in Game 7, but I literally think the baseball gods looked down and were like, they could not take this again. Because it was, they were like, it was like, it was, that thing was so, I remember saying after the 03, you know what's bad about this? Not only that we just have to, that this happened, but I have no idea when they're going to get back there. And then 04 was the Cardinals, 05 the White Sox, 06 was another annoying situation, I forget what it was, and then 07 was the Red Sox. Like, they just kept piling on. Sorry. Here's another one of your
Not
team.
your turn yet.
Yeah. You're just and finally, thank God for 16. But
Yes. Thank you.
man, oh man. All right.
Shout out the White Sox, baby.
Let's go. Alex
05,
Gonzalez.
baby.
Let's go to number 3. This was number 1 on our Bears list. It's number
okay.
3 here. What if the Bears had drafted Patrick Mahomes and not Mitchell Trubisky?
Go
Patrick
for it.
Mahomes gets hit by a bus. That's what happens. Right?
Why is he smoking in the photo?
Smoking Pat.
Smoking Pat.
Pat a day.
Well,
pat a
look.
day. Well
The
done.
easy answer here is the Bears are significantly better right away.
Yeah.
And who knows what comes of that. But the other thing is, the thing I ask myself is, could that staff have properly developed Pat Mahomes?
John Fox.
He would.
People
Fox
forget
would never
John
have
Fox
played
was
him.
the head coach when they drafted Mitch.
See,
Here's a game in which Mitch threw 7 passes, and the Bears won that game, 17-3. They
Yeah,
beat
who's
the
laughing
Panthers.
now? John Fox got that W.
Yeah.
That's what his job
Great
is.
point. I mean, John Elway.
I have my thing is like I always feel this way. Like I feel greatness has a way of shining a light on the trash that's around you. And so when you get a guy like Patrick Mahomes on your team, or you get a guy like Patrick Kane, or you get Derrick Rose, or even you want to throw Caleb in there, like it has a shot, and it's what it does. Right. Jordan did the same thing. Like of the trash that's around you, like nope, that's got to go. That's got to go. That's got to go. That's got to go. So I think that's exactly what would have happened with Patrick Mahomes. And so even when we talk about the John Fox being there, that would have been a wrap. You know, whatever issues I felt like that was around there and concerning them would have been removed to allow this man to continue to be great.
Part of me also believes, though, that Mahomes is probably somewhat of an uncorruptible prospect.
I would think so. Yes.
Where I think that he obviously outlives John Fox in terms of with the Bears and Matt Nagy, you know.
Maybe Matt Nagy's not an idiot when he's got
Exactly.
a world like one of the best quarterbacks of all time on his team.
Right.
Famous Matt Nagy actual quote, "I'm not an idiot." So.
Well, I mean, and look, like, and we're making fun of John Fox. Like, John Fox is also not an idiot. He became an idiot when he was the Bears coach.
Went to the Super Bowl, sure.
Like, that's a guy with skins on the wall, and he's probably the reason the Bears ran the ball, threw the ball 7 times that game is because Mitch Trubisky was the damn quarterback, and he's like, well, I got to win. And this guy's not good, so I'm going to run the ball instead. If it's Pat Mahomes, I'm sure he adjusts the game plan accordingly and starts flinging it around. So,
Completely
and
agree with that.
And like Matt Nagy, I think for all the criticism we have about him, like a lot of that was his personnel base. It was a team that just couldn't execute.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when it all worked out for him and everything clicked, he was coach of the year.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was just about the adjustments from next year because everybody catches up with what you're doing. And, yeah, it just didn't click and didn't work. And guess what? John Fox was right about Mitchell Trubisky, as we all probably felt about Mitchell Trubisky when they drafted him. But, no, dude, yeah, you passed on Patrick Mahomes. He's going to go down as, if not the greatest, one of the greatest quarterbacks or players of all time.
Let's not forget. Look, I don't think anything changes with Fox. I think Mike Glennon starts, and then and somehow, some way,
I forgot about Mike Glennon.
They probably they wait on Patrick Mahomes, and he doesn't instantly hit. I'm assuming that Matt Nagy makes here. Maybe that's too big of a leap, but I'm going to make it. The next year, that's a 12-4 football team with a great defense, and the double doink happens. You can't tell me
With Mahomes?
right? I mean, come on. With Mahomes, you're winning that football game, and if he's 80% of himself, you're going to make a run to the Super Bowl. I mean, in my mind, I think it's a pretty fair leap that the drought from 85 is over.
They nearly did it with Mitch. Like, that's your point. But
Right.
That's just, 100%.
Yeah, I'm with it.
It's funny, though, you mentioned what you said earlier. Like, it's funny how teams are as good as their quarterback. And that organizations that are seen as, like, the crown jewel of the NFL all coincidentally have franchise quarterbacks on them. Mm-hmm. And then when they leave, all of a sudden, they're not the crown jewel franchise anymore. Oh, like Tom Brady went to Tampa. All of a sudden, the Patriots aren't the shining example, and Bill Belichick is not the greatest coach of all time.
Weird.
Suddenly, he became stupid when Tom Brady left. And, you know, it's like the Steelers, for the first time, have some uncertainty at quarterback. And now they're not as dominant as they've been through the Roethlisberger and those years. So it's all about the quarterback, which is why that dude, 18, needs to be great.
Thank you for being here.
Well, and just lastly here, the point about trash. It also, you have somebody like that, it makes you look a whole lot better. I would argue that Ryan Pace is still the general manager of the Chicago Bears. He's looked upon as like a just some unbelievable type that drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
And Nagy's probably still the head coach here.
And probably didn't draft him at number 2 either.
Right.
Probably drafts him at number 3.
Let's just say hypothetically that he had actually traded up to draft Patrick Mahomes, and it worked out the way it's worked in Kansas City. They'd build a statue for the guy.
Yes,
and rightfully so.
Papa Pace.
So, that's right. Exactly. All right, last time out, we got our final 2, which I think you probably have an idea who they are, but hey, you're going to love the discussion whether you figure it out or not. We'll do that next. Hey, shout out to our friends at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake. They've been firing off the fireworks all month long with their big savings event. Coming today, it's the Freedom to Save sales event. You can drive home with $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevrolet models. Or, hey, check out 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. There's something for you there as one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest. The prices are competitive. You're getting a great deal. It's the Ray Price Promise as well. The price you see, the price you pay. No add-ons ever. Go see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake. I always remember you take the Metro up there, you get off at the train station, you walk into Ray Chevrolet, you drive home in your new car. That's sweet. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. And don't miss out. Freedom to Save sales event going on all month long.
Making moves to be just like my man Patrick, who you can't see, but he's sitting here, I promise you. Wave at him, P. There it is. Should be very simple and should be very smooth. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why there is Cash App. There are no extra hoops to jump through. Nope. No extra stress. I hate stress. There are no woozies, and Patrick likes this. There are no wazies at all, ladies and gentlemen. Sending money with Cash App feels very safe. They look out for you. If something seems sketchy, or, just might be sending some money to a potential scammer, they warn you and make you think, and that'll make you think twice before you press send. It's like having your own personal bodyguard for your cash. So it's like having a Patrick. Waves at it again. That's Patrick. Yes. And for real, ladies and gentlemen, you can get yourself some additional cash. There's no catch, I promise you. Just download Cash App and sign right up. Use this exclusive referral code, CHGO Bulls. That's because I'm a CHGO Bulls guy. In your profile, send $5 to a friend, and within 14 days, you'll get $10 dropped right into your account, and that sound shall go a kerplunk. Terms apply. That is money. That is Cash App.
All right. Down to our final 2. Recapping one more time. George Halas, 1915, overslept. Good job, George. Sammy Sosa traded from the Sox to the Cubs. Blackhawks Game 5 versus Nashville. 13 seconds left with the game winner, or not the game winner, the game tired. Overtime, Marian Hossa. Derrick Rose didn't get hurt. That was painful. Bulls keeping the core together. What if that had happened? That would have been sweet. No strike in 94. Alex Gonzalez fielding a ground ball in 03. The Bears drafting Patrick Mahomes over Mitchell Trubisky. Here we go to number 2. What if it never rained in Cleveland in Game 7 of 2016 when the Cubs were literally reeling beyond reeling? Does anybody think they win the game without the rain delay?
No. They needed that so badly to just catch their breath and reset and be reminded by Jason Hayward who they were, how they got there, and why they deserved to win the game. That was such a meaningful thing for that. I mean, because you had, for the first time, really, people questioning Joe Madden, right? Like, what is this guy doing? I think that's the first time in his entire tenure where I was like, what? and you could just feel it. We talked about the emotions of the team. They were beaten. They were shell-shocked. They were stunned, and they needed that, like, all right, it's a tie game now. Deep breaths. Let's just go do our thing. There's no one better than us. We've done it all year. We're here for a reason. Let's go. We're never going to get this opportunity again. And they kind of needed, you could do that in a dugout, but then there's a million things happening. There's distractions. There's music. Jason Hayward gets a team together and says, look, screw this. We are better than this. We're not becoming another footnote of history. We're gonna make our own right here.
I mean, when they're winning that game, there's a mic'd up moment from the dugout where I think Anthony Rizzo says to David Ross, I'm in a glass case of emotion. He quotes Anchorman. And, all right, cool. Now imagine Now imagine you've let them back into this game. Imagine you've let them tied back up after that Rajai Davis home run. It's tough to imagine a rebound from that.
Yeah, I think like if it was the Yankees or the Dodgers, I would say yes, they would have won this game. But knowing the Cubs and knowing the history of the Cubs and the things that have happened to them and the things that have gone down, yes, they needed this. This had to happen for them. Like it's like, man, you get there so many times. You're looking at the baseball guys like, again?
Yeah.
You're gonna do this to me again? And they're like, okay, fine. You know what I mean? Here's some rain for you. Regroup, start over.
Couldn't make it too
get
easy on
together.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That is a lot of suffering. You know what I mean? That has gone down for this Cubs organization, man. But yeah, I agree with Jay and everything that he just said, man. They needed that to happen to reset and, like you said, to be reminded of who they are.
But they couldn't have won the World Series Game 7 just in a routine way.
No.
Like, they won 4-2 and it was uneventful. You knew something.
This is
with
the Cubs.
the
Yeah.
Indians at the time and the Cubs. You knew with those two franchises, cursed beyond belief, that something crazy had to happen in that game.
Yeah.
And it did, and
especially after
the baseball gods, it did.
Yes, and especially after the White Sox winning, you know what I'm saying, and having their title, they could not take, you know what I'm saying, another one of these things happening to them, man. Knowing
I
a
could
curse,
not take
right,
it.
Yeah, exactly.
knowing a curse had been broken, you know what I'm saying, with the White Sox, it had to happen this way.
I loved Joe Madden. I wish I wish Joe Madden was still the manager of the Cubs.
Madden was awesome, bro.
I mean, just the personality,
yeah,
all of it. But we can going back in Game 6, they had the Game 1. He chooses to throw Aroldis Chapman late, which he absolutely didn't have to do. He goes in Game 7. Kyle Hendricks is pitching like the Cy Young Award winner that he was. He pulls him ridiculously after a walk in the
Jerry Krause did.
It was just, hey there, let's do the whole thing. John Lester, let's get David Ross in here. Let's switch. I mean, it was just completely ridiculous.
Well, it was so anti-Madden, right? Like he went into like, I got a game plan. We're going from Hendricks to Lester to Chapman. That's the plan. I want to give Lester a clean inning, but then he didn't.
Right.
And he just, for the first time we ever saw Joe also get kind of caught up in the moment of, oh my God, this is Game 7 of the World Series, and it's not going precisely as we planned. And Kyle Hendricks I think it was a walk or hit, whatever. Yeah, it was a walk.
On a pitch that was a strike too.
Right, yeah. And he completely panics and brings Lester, and then Lester bounces one, hits David Ross in the face, and he falls down, and it's like, oh God, here we go. Everyone kind of lost their ass in that moment. And if Jason Hayward did nothing else as a Cub aside from give that speech, it was completely worth the signing.
And apparently, as legend tells, Chapman was crying in that room. Dudes were emotional all over the place. Then Schwarber's leading off the 10th, and he starts telling people that they throw me he's going to throw me a cutter in or whatever the pitch was. I'm gonna whack it in the right field, and like the momentum in that whole place just started to change. And of course, Zobrist in the double. But I mean, I was there.
Flex.
Thank you, WGN Radio, for sending me one of the greatest. That's the greatest thing you ever did for me. But Kipnis's ball down the right field line, like the press box where I was in the right, like we were like basically on the right field foul pole. That thing looked like it was headed out of the building, and I was like slowly packing up my stuff with just a pit in my stomach. There's like, I'm gonna have to go down and cover this.
Yeah.
And like this is just, I really don't think that, like, if that rain delay doesn't happen, the Cubs lose that game. The amount of settlement that it brought to so many Cub fans, they'd still be in it now. They wouldn't have that team. Everyone thought that team was going to be a dynasty. They were lucky to get the one they got, as it turns out, and like we'd still be in it, and there would be just a void. And however many people, Cub fans, have passed away from then till now, would have never have seen it.
Yeah.
Like that was. I'm sorry. That's the baseball gods were in there.
It is just one of those things. It's like, hey, if you're going to get to a championship, might as well win it. Right?
Yeah, right. Also, shout out Albert Almora for the heads up.
Great base running.
Tagging up base running to get to second base.
That was
Miguel Montero too.
Underrated moment of that game is when they show a mic'd up clip of David Ross rounding the bases after his home run, and he's just heavy breathing. He's not. They're like, we're gonna check in on David Ross mic'd up.
Please don't.
CJ Edwards started the 10th, right? He got the first 2 outs.
CJ Edwards.
I mean, out of nowhere, and Mike Montgomery gets the final out.
He had the tying run on second. You had Rajai Davis on second base.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Miguel
LeBron
Montero, shout out you with the adding on with the base hit to left field.
Miguel Montero, 2 hits in that entire postseason.
Grand
Is
Slam.
that
and-
right?
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
2 for 18, I want to say.
Wow.
2 pretty big ones.
Yes, colossal.
when they beat the Dodgers at home to go to the World Series, that was also was an emotional.
But see, that was a little bit uneventful.
Yeah,
Because the game was so in hand.
Yeah.
They got out to a big lead early. He's like, all right, let's just burn through these outs and let's
Way
get
too
out of
logical.
here.
Yeah.
the people in that park, though. I mean, it was like
I was there too. It was amazing.
It was amazing. I'm like, is this the? I was walking around talking to fans. I'm like, is this the greatest moment of your life? I was like, I've had 3 kids, but I think this is it. I mean, it mattered because you didn't think that you would ever see it, and Cub fans got
Just really quick, Miguel Montero, 2 for 12 in that postseason, 5 RBI.
wow.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, let's do it here. Number 1, and highly debated what would be there, but we did because, he is the greatest athlete to ever play anything, damn it. Let's go back to James Jordan tragically getting murdered in 1993 in October. The White Sox were in the playoffs, and you found out about it that the following day, Michael Jordan, at the age of 30, was going to retire for the first time. A team that had Tony Kukoc incoming, had Scotty in his prime, had Horace in his prime, had BJ in his prime. They had a three-peat. That team went on and won 55 games and lost to the New York Knicks that year. Following year was, he comes back, but he's not himself. Plays 17 games. They lose to the Magic, and then the second three-peat comes 2 years later. So, if he never retires, what if?
I think they win 4 or 5 in a row, but they don't win 6 total.
Interesting. I think they win 6, but I don't think they're going to win 6 in a row or anything like that. I do think the next year, I think they win. I have them winning again next year. That team was, again, like you said, supremely stacked. 55 wins. Scottie Pippen finishing 3rd in the MVP vote. I believe Horace and B.J. Armstrong were both in the All-Star game that season, because I remember the game where Horace had 30 points and 20 rebounds against the Lakers. Like, they were menaces. And like you mentioned, Tony Kukoc coming in, you know what I'm saying, on his rookie season. Like, yeah, and I know Mike was burnt out, because he was just very tired. If it's anybody I trust to get you motivated and get you the time you need, it's going to be Phil Jackson. So Phil Jackson would have found a way to, get Mike exactly where he needed to be mentally.
Just put 18 holes on a game day instead of
exactly.
36.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like every time I have this argument with people who tell me they would have lost, I always just ask, I have more proof on my side that they wouldn't have lost.
100%.
Please show me your proof.
Well, maybe
that
Jerry
they would have lost.
8 Pete.
Maybe
where
Jerry
is it?
Krause calls it quits. So
You're right.
breaks it up after 96 instead.
Yeah, and I know Houston was great. Like Hakeem Olajuwon, Kenny Smith, Sam Cassell, Robert Horry, Otis Thorpe. Like they had a great, amazing team, and the Bulls struggled against that team during the regular season.
Cartwright could not handle Hakeem, and by that time he was
Who
basically
could?
dead.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Who could? But who could handle Mike? And again, in the end, I'm gonna always err on the side of Jordan when it comes to
Air
this.
on the side of air, my friend.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
There's a couple of what ifs from it. But first of all, like the baseball trek was, as far as a life experience goes, I think it was great for him. I think he will look back at that, like when he's 78-year-old Jordan, he looks back at that time, there'll be a big smile on his face from it.
Agreed.
But as far as legacy goes, and his legacy is quite intact here. But like if you had one, because I'm not going to take anything off the board. I think they win 8 in a row. I think they win 9 in a row. He definitely did push himself to such a level that burnout was a thing for Jordan. But like somehow, some way, they could have gotten creative here enough that it would have kept him going. And plus,
he was burnt out on the 3rd championship. And
Right,
won.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's winning. Like it's what he's about. He's a psychopath, bro.
So to your point, so if they win 8 in a row, what number was the what if for the Last Dance? Can you possibly justify breaking it up after 98?
No.
Because you can't already. So if they win 8 in a row, you definitely can't.
Yeah. 'Cause then you're going for 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's complete history right there. Yeah. Can't break that up. You have
go
to get
until they
carried out.
lose.
Yes. You can carry it out on your
Yeah,
shield.
right.
That's how you have to go
We're
out.
sitting here. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Jordan's still.
Could he
300 in a row? What's going on?
Could he have caught Bill Russell 11 out of 13? I'm thinking the answer to that is no.
Sure.
But that's when Bill Russell gets slept on as far as the GOAT conversation.
without a doubt.
I mean, that dude 1 and 1 and 1 and 1.
Dude, he coached in 2 of them. He was
Yeah.
the head coach. He was a player coach and won on the road against the Lakers.
Phil
Game
Jackson
7.
should have laced him up.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. I believe Phil won, what, 2?
Yeah.
Before he got there. But yeah, do know Bill Russell absolutely. And doing it in Boston at a time for a black man in Boston, it was not a cool place to be in Boston. No, Bill Russell is definitely slept on for sure.
The Russell doc is an unbelievable watch for anybody out there. But look, it's number 1 on our list because that day, I mean, Tom Brokaw is covering it. The entire world, like it was the biggest story, just a bombshell. And what if also? I mean, I was at the University of Iowa at the time. I didn't go to class for a week. I saved every Tribune and because YouTube didn't exist then. I had taped a bunch of games, but I didn't have like you didn't like it was a death at the time. It was. And I, because I was such a Michael fan that I wanted his legacy intact. I rooted against the '94 Bulls because I was worried about his legacy because I knew I would have dudes like my buddy Nick Wright out there say, "Well, they won 55 games. Like, how good was it?" Like, I was literally rooting against that team that year.
I was not.
Yeah, I was sick. I was.
No, man, I wanted wins, bro. Like, yeah, that team was all. I remember listening to it on the radio because we couldn't afford cable at the time, and I just remember listening to it on the radio, and I just jumping up and down because I thought the game was over, and I just knew it was over, and I'm listening to Neil Funk, like, they're celebrating. You know what I mean? They were like, yeah, Scotty blocks the shot. You know what I mean? We're over, we win. And they were like, no foul.
Oh, Hubert. Yeah.
Hugh Hollins calls a foul.
Yeah.
Hubert Davis goes to the line.
Game 5.
And, yeah, everybody knew whoever won Game 5. It didn't matter if it went 7. Everybody knew whoever won Game 5 was winning the series. And, yeah, Hugh Hollins gave it to the Knicks. And they went on to go to the championship, and that was a great thing, though. Watching the Knicks lose in the finals, it was awesome to see.
Always.
That was amazing. Watching John Starks suck in the finals. Oh my God, man! If you're ever feeling down, go watch that man go 2 for 18. Like, it was great, guys.
Miguel Montero?
Yeah, right. In a bad way, 2 for 18. It was spectacular.
No
Great
RBI.
stuff. Yeah, none. Zero. He was
That's a
trash.
great underlining that this terrible Starks game would not have happened.
Oh man, yes, man.
Yeah.
Oh, the joy that brought to me. It was great. Thank you.
And shout out Game 5, 1994. BJ played huge in that game.
Yeah.
Those dudes played their ass off on
They
the
did,
road.
man. They got cheated out of that one.
The championship dog was still in them. All right, team. I think we've done this. Do we learn anything? What happened in this last in this hour of outstanding, exquisite entertainment?
We relived some pain.
Yeah.
We relived some glory.
Yeah.
It's tough to be a Chicago sports fan.
And then we counted down the top 10 what ifs.
Yes, we did.
What if no team in this town is ever good again?
I unfortunately, I don't think that that's the alternate reality that we're writing. I think that that's just the one that we're living in.
And I'd shout out 2025 Chicago Cubs. You are the hope right now, so go out and do it. Let's
Bears
go.
too. You are the hope.
Yeah,
as well.
sure. I'm not sleeping on the Bears, but
Yeah.
you know.
Come
Shout
on,
out
man. Don't sleep on your
2045
squad.
Bulls.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to that.
They are a team. Yes.
2045.
Let's go
Hey,
modest.
yes.
Put it in Sharpie.
They have a
2045.
roster. Yes, correct.
Someday there will be a modest match. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. We're back to our regular things, but this was a huge fun this week for all of us. So appreciate you checking it out. What if? Top 10 Chicago sports questions for you. Thanks for watching.
We all city like the mayor.